All right, friends, let's return for another installment of Finn Mckenty, certified YouTube star. According to Billboard magazine, it's a fact. Billboard called me a YouTube star, which means that it must be true, which means that I am also entitled to cast judgment on my fellow YouTube peers. I did another volume of this a little while ago where I talked about Nick Nocturnal and Anthony Fantano and some other people like that. But there were a lot of people I couldn't get to in that one. And so today we'll come back for another installment of YouTube star Finn Mckenty reviews other YouTubers, destroys them with facts and logic, destroys them with relentless, unflinching criticism. So if you want to see me spill the tea and absolutely wreck your favorite YouTuber, then you are in the right place, because that is what I'm going to do today. That's right. YouTube star Finn Mckenty reviews lesser YouTube stars. That's what we're going to do today. Okay, the first one that came up is one that a lot of people mentioned, which is Todd The Shadows. And to be honest, I've seen his videos in my recommended for many years. Like, he's best known for the One Hit Wonderland series, as far as I understand. I'd seen his videos in my recommended for years, but I'd never actually watched one of them. Everyone told me he's great, and so I said, all right, well, I guess I should check it out. And there's and it's true, he is very good. So this video is a 20-minute long deep dive on the song I Wish by Skilo. Do you remember that one? I wish I was a little bit taller, wish I was a baller, that one. So, you know, I can see why people like his videos so much. It's, you know, he's funny, but not like cringe, you know, just sort of like good, like dry wit, funny, enlightening, extremely clever. I agree. And, you know, everybody loves one hit wonders. So I can see why this has a lot of appeal. And, you know, for this series, what I have tried to focus on is what I can learn from these people, because, you know, really, like, I mean, YouTube is my job, so I do take it seriously, and I always try to learn from anybody. One thing I noticed about this guy is this MFer has 3,200 patrons, which works out to $7,857 per video. Holy shit! Nice work, Todd. He's making 6 figures a year just off of Patreon, in addition to whatever he makes off of YouTube, which, I mean, his videos do well. So yeah, nice work, Todd. And also, he's been on YouTube since 2006, which is insane. Like, that's old YouTube, when YouTube was like cat videos and stuff. So what I take away from this, you know, I only watched this one video and some parts of another one, so I don't know his work super well. But what I take away from this is just like the value of consistency. I mean, this man has been grinding for 17 years. Yeah, when YouTube was me at the zoo. Exactly. He's been doing it for a very long time, and you can see the results of that. You know, that this man is pulling in $8,000 a month just from Patreon. Nice work. I think he should raise his rates. That's what I think. He should not have these $1 and $2 tiers. He should start at like $4, you know, $5. That's what I think. But shout out to him. The value of consistency. You know, hard work pays off. That's what I take away from this, and I can see why people like it. Next up, another one that people recommended to me, which was ironic because I know this guy. He's a friend of mine, Grady Smith, which is a country YouTuber. Basically, the way I would think of it is Grady Smith is to country what I am to Warped Tour bands. So he makes these sort of videos, like, for example, this one. This is country music's Nirvana moment, where he's talking about the rise of Zach Bryan and how that's sort of changing the country industry, you know, the demise of bro country and all that kind of stuff. You know, I just started out watching his videos like years ago, and I've become friends with him since then. I talk to him pretty often. Just very insightful guy. What I like about him is, like, he's a true kind of creator, meaning that he just does what he wants to do, even when he knows that it's not going to be popular or it's not going to get a lot of views or anything like that, which, you know, I'm not like that, and I wish I was. You know, he's not afraid to put out a video that he knows is going to bomb just because he wants to say it. It's hard for me to do that. I have a little bit too much of like a business mind of, like, to me, I'm always thinking about what's going to get views, you know, because this is my job and all that kind of stuff. And like, that's not wrong, but I really appreciate that Grady is, you know, he's like a true creator, you know what I mean? And sometimes I need to do that. Sometimes I need to like get out of my own way and sort of put on that creator hat again, instead of only making what I know the audience wants. And that's what Grady's really good at. Also, like, a really thoughtful, smart guy. Like, he doesn't script any of his videos. I know he has bullet points, but he doesn't script any of them. And Grady, when he is unscripted, sounds as articulate or more articulate than I do when I'm scripted. So I think that says a lot about his sort of ability to just like talk. He's better at talking than I am, and just a nice dude, makes great videos. So if you have any, even if you don't have any interest in country, like just if you care about music at all, I would highly suggest checking him out, because his videos are just great. Smart guy, really thoughtful analysis of this stuff. Next one, your man, Bradley Hall.
So you may remember.
Very British. I've reacted to some of his stuff. You may remember him.
Right, so you may remember that Metallica released a new song out of nowhere earlier in the year called Lux Eterna.
Very British. He got quite a bit of attention for this. He made a video called something like, you know, redoing this Metallica video, but the solo doesn't suck, or something like that, where he did his own version of a solo in Lux Eterna by Metallica. Yeah, this one. Yeah, Lux Eterna, but the solo doesn't suck. And Kirk Hammett noticed it and like kind of talked shit about it, which was like, wow, got noticed by Kirk Hammett. That's amazing. And Bradley, what I like about him is he's just so damn entertaining. His edits are amazing, right? Like, there's something cool happening in this video, like every second, with the zooms and the cuts and all this kind of stuff. And like, just his edits alone just make the video so much more fun, you know? And being entertaining is not really my strong suit. You know, I'm more of like a just the facts kind of guy. He's a cartoon, yes. But he is a cartoon, but he's actually a really smart guy. He used to be a software engineer, and he added me to a group chat with, I don't know, maybe like 10 or so other YouTubers, you know, a lot of like guitar YouTubers and stuff. And it's been like really valuable to be in that group chat. So shout out to Bradley for really bringing together. And I think a lot of the other people in that group chat also would agree with that that's like a super valuable place for us to like complain about shit and get ideas and stuff like that. But, you know, being entertaining is so hard, and especially being entertaining without being like a total clown. Being entertaining, but also kind of informative is really hard, and I think he does it just so damn well. So even though he can't say the letter T, I still like Bradley Hall. I'm still a fan. If you like guitar stuff and guitar comedy, I think he's probably the current best at doing guitar comedy, in my opinion, and a smart guy. Next up, someone who I like very much, Mike the Snare. I hope his name is Mike, by the way. I don't know if it is. You know, I would think of it as kind of like a music appreciation channel. The main thing he's known for is his discography deep dives, where he'll spend like 40 minutes talking about, say, the Taylor Swift or Paramore discography or something like that. He's one of these, like, I would say one of the poptimist people, meaning that poptimism is a term that essentially describes the fact that now it's like, you know, there's people who talk about pop music in like, you know, an intellectual way, I guess you would say. To me, Anthony Fantano probably pioneered that. I don't know if there's maybe someone else, but that's what I think. I think of Mike the Snare as sort of like video essays coming from maybe the same type of point of view as the Fantano crowd, of like kind of indie and sort of the nerdier side of pop. But, you know, with all due respect to Fantano, he's a lot nicer than Fantano. Much more, he's like a gentle guy, you know? And, you know, kind of like Todd in the Shadows, he's very clever and funny and entertaining, but without ever, you know, being, I don't know, annoying, I guess. And I've straight up copied a couple of his video formats, which I asked him about. I asked him if I could do this. For example, he did a video called The Music That Defined the 90s, I think. And I was like, oh, damn, that's a good idea. And so I just straight up copied that format for this one, the 90s Alternative Music Revolution. So basically, I just picked one release for each year. I did the same thing for the 2000s a couple months afterwards, or no, I did the 2000s first. Anyway, point being, I straight up copied his video idea, but I DM'd him and asked him, and I said, hey, I love your videos. Would you mind if I copied this video idea? And he said, sure, go for it. So I did. You know, he's just, I know I say this a lot, but he comes across as a very nice, pleasant person. Like, even when he says things that are maybe a little bit critical or says that something is bad, he comes across as a very nice person. And as I've talked about many times before, that's something that I'm really working on. Because, like, if you know me personally, I am a very nice person. I'm very, like, I help pretty much anybody with anything. I'm a very nice, gentle person. But for some reason, the way I express my opinions about music makes people think I'm an asshole. And I don't love that. So with people like him, you know, or Rick Beato, I'm always kind of trying to ask myself, how can I express my opinion in a way that's more like them and less like myself? Let's put it that way. But yeah, his videos are great, you know, especially if you're into pop or anything like that. I would highly suggest, even if you're not, you know, it's just, he's just very good at talking about music, very enjoyable stuff. I like it. Shout out to Mike the Snare, big fan. Another person that I have seen in my recommended for years, but never actually watched before, is Pat Finnerty. People have suggested his videos to me for years. I've just never watched them. I don't know, just because I never did. Not because there's anything wrong with it, just never did. He's most known for his series called What Makes This Song Stink. For example, this one, he spends 40 minutes 40 minutes talking about why Danny California by Red Hot Chili Peppers sucks, which I agree with. It sucks. I really like early Red Hot Chili Peppers, but I hate this song. But, you know, he kind of reminds me of Todd The Shadows in the sense of, maybe that's it. The Finn name rivalry kept me away. That's right. That's right. If I ever met him, I'd say, Pat, you seem like a cool guy, and nothing personal, but there's only room for one Finn in this town. In this town is YouTube, so there you go. I'd go, hey, what's that over there? And you go, huh? And I just hit him over the head with a blackjack and throw him in the fucking in the bay. Sorry, buddy. Gotta go. But anyway, I did watch a couple of his videos since I said, you know what, finally, let's check it out. And I see why people like him so much. He's very funny, very entertaining. Reminds me of Todd The Shadows, that, you know, he goes into like kind of an insane amount of depth about this specific thing, this song. He's entertaining, informative, you know, and you know, also comes across as like a pretty gentle, nice guy. So kind of a common thread here. As Nick Nocturnal pointed out to me when I said, why does everyone listen to you, but they don't listen to me? And he said, well, Finn, in so many words, he said, Finn, it's because you are a dick. And I said, Nick, you're right. He didn't actually say that, but he said it in so many words. And I said, the man's got a point. So yeah, I mean, again, I think for anybody watching, and if you're wondering kind of what are the takeaways from this, listen, this goes beyond just YouTube, because I would say the one thing in my life that has held me back more than anything else is expressing my opinions in a way that other people find really off-putting and unpleasant. I used to do this at work all the time. I'd be like, oh, this thing we're doing sucks. We should do it this way. And I thought I was just trying to help, but people took that as me being an asshole. So if you have that problem, if people find you to be an off-putting dick like they have to me, I would say, you know, watch these guys and learn how to express your opinions in a more pleasant way. That's a challenge for me, something I always try to get better at. And his edits are really clever too. I mean, I totally see why people like these videos. They're great. Very entertaining, very clever. Next up, Adam Neely. I've watched a couple of his videos. For example, this one I remember watching years ago. This is Why Single Ladies is So Cool. I believe that I think he has a master's in like music theory, if not maybe a PhD. He is a music nerd in the truest sense of the word.
If you analyze the arpeggio this way,
like this,
it's like you're overblowing an E natural fundamental at the 6th harmonic, the 7th harmonic, the 8th harmonic, the 9th harmonic, and then the 10th harmonic, skipping the 11th harmonic and going to the 12th harmonic. So
this is his content.
Spicy augmented 5th interval with the G sharp in the melody.
Spicy augmented 5th interval. So this is like level 9,000 music nerd, okay? I don't understand really anything. I mean, I sort of kind of understand at a very, very basic level what he's talking about. But, you know, again, this is like 14 minutes of him explaining why Single Ladies basically is this incredibly unconventional song because the flute sample, you know, is in this like really bizarre scale or whatever. This is not something I would personally watch because I don't care about music theory, but this guy has 1.7 million subscribers. This video has 700,000 views, and he has tons of other huge videos like this. You know, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of views on videos about this like extremely, extremely nerdy shit. And to me, the takeaway from that is that, you know, if you're passionate about a topic and you're good at talking about it, like there's an audience for literally anything, right? Like, for example, I found out there's 2 channels about wasps. There's one guy called like Yellow Jacket Expert, I think. And there's another guy called like, you know, Yellow Jacket Exterminator or something like that. Like there's 2 channels with hundreds of thousands of subscribers of guys just talking about how they like remove like fucking wasps. The point here is that like people respond to passion. There is no way, this video has 700,000 views. There is no fucking way that 700, Hornet King, that's the other guy. That's right. Yeah. There is no fucking way that 700,000 people understand what he's talking about in this video, because this is like so far down the rabbit hole, right? Like I run a company that teaches people how to produce music, and I don't understand this shit, okay? So there is no way that there's 700,000 people out there that do understand it, and it doesn't matter. If you are passionate about something and you can explain it in a way where people connect with your passion, there's an audience for it. You know, he's proof of that. His Patreon apparently is really big too. Let's see. 1,600 members? Okay, yeah, that's solid. I only have like 400 members, so he's doing better than I am. So shout out to him. So yeah, to me, the point here, you know, it's just that people respond to passion. So if you want to talk about something, talk about it. Like there's no such thing as too nerdy. There's an audience for anything. Don't ever think that your interests are too nerdy or too niche to get views, because there's no such thing. Next up, Ola England. I would say he's probably at the moment probably the biggest like metal guitar YouTuber. Ola is crushing it. He's been doing this for like 10 years. And I'll tell you what I really learned from him. If you watch his old videos, they're kind of like stiff, you know, he's trying to like be quote unquote professional, you know, the ones from like 2014 or whatever, they're kind of stiff. There's like no real personality and stuff. And what made him take off, and he's talked about this in videos. I remember watching this, like someone asked him like, you know, what was the real like turning point for your channel? What he said was very interesting. He's like, when I started like showing more personality and I stopped trying to like be like professional and just started being myself, that's when the channel took off. So he started making more like, you know, just silly fart jokes, and like his videos were just like a lot more entertaining and less like informative. That's what it took off. And so I really took a lot from that. I think that's kind of what inspired me to take my second channel in this direction, you know, just being like more fun and silly. And so with Ola, it really does feel like a friend simulator. You know, you feel like you're sitting down with one of your friends, just talking shop about guitars and playing cool riffs and stuff. And, you know, obviously there's 800,000 people that want to do that. And I think he does it really well. Also, he has a guitar company called Solar Guitars, which I think is one of the kind of hottest newer guitar companies. I see like every metalcore band, you know, plays Solar guitars. People seem to love them. So you know, obviously I'm really into business. So I think it's really cool that he took his following on YouTube and he didn't just get a guitar sponsor, because he did have a guitar sponsor before. I don't remember who it was. Maybe Ibanez. I don't remember. But he started his own guitar company. It's legit. You know, he'll go over to Indonesia to go to the factories and stuff like that. And I think Solar Guitars is probably crushing it. So very inspiring. Always cool to see that. And a Washburn. That's what it was. That's right. But yeah, the big learning that I got from him is just like, you know, loosen up, have fun with it, and people will respond to that, which they did. So thank you to Ola for that. And also very tall. So taller than me, therefore I hate him. All right, probably my current favorite YouTubers in the music space is Neopunk FM. This is the video that I discovered them from. Why is Deftones so popular again? And I think when it comes to like, I don't know, just humor, these guys are the best. I'll let you watch a little bit of it here because you got to get a taste of it. They're the best.
2000, people are playing Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2. Malcolm in the Middle is on the TV, and every high school-aged boy is either cosplaying as Slim Shady or blasting nu metal. You've got Limp Bizkit fans,
Slim Shady
your
cosplay.
Adidas tracksuit wearing Korn fans, taking the wire from the microphone and wrapping it around your hand and kind of breathing into it really close.
Yeah, so when I saw these guys, it made me feel bad, actually, because they're so clever. Like, this video is so good. I was like, God damn it, these guys are funnier than me. They're more clever than me. They're younger than me. The only thing I can say is they look short, so I'm probably taller than them. So at least there's that. But, you know, it's one of these things where you realize the torch has been passed. You know, we're like, damn, I thought I was good, but the new generation has come along. These guys are better than me. And, It hurts to admit that, you know, when you realize it's like imagine this. Say Chuck Liddell from the UFC. You remember at the very end of his career when he was getting knocked out like all the time, you know, and everyone's like, dude, Chuck, your time has passed. You got to retire. You're getting fucking brutally knocked out every fight. That's what watching this video made me feel like. I was like, damn it. I'm the dinosaur. My time has passed. These guys are just funnier than I am. You know, that sucks. At least I'm taller than they are. So there is at least that. So with these guys, to me, the lesson is to always learn from anyone and everyone. I will never be the kind of person that writes off the younger generation. Like you see this so often, you know, especially in music, people, you know, in the older bands are talking shit about the younger bands. Meanwhile, it's obvious that the younger bands are doing something better than the older bands were. And I just never want to be that person. You know, I always want to learn from anyone and everyone, whether they're younger than me, older than me, I don't care. And so when I saw these guys' videos, I was like, damn, I got to step it up. This is inspiring. You know, so my motto is don't hate, congratulate. You know, if someone comes along that's doing something better than you are, yeah, Rolling Stone gathers no moss. Exactly. You got to learn from it. So as much as I hate to admit it, Neopunk FM, I officially recognize in this video, it's like a land use acknowledgement, except it's a YouTube skill acknowledgement. I will officially pass the torch here to you guys as the kings of alternative music comedy. I humbly accept that I am now in second place. That's what I have to say about it. If you like these guys, give them a sub. I love them. They're great. Charismatic Voice is another one that a lot of people recommended to me. I've seen a couple of her videos. So she is one of these, you know, there were a lot of these people for a while that were like these vocal coaches that would react to songs and like break down the techniques. Right? So this is like about Slaughter to Prevail.
So they should be vibrating against each other. It's the same thing that happens with
where she's breaking it down on like a very
take constriction the wrong way and
on a very like technical level.
Squeeze.
You know, once again, this is kind of like Adam Neely to me. Which is like, this is very nerdy niche content, right? This has, you know, 100,000 views in 3 days. She has 1.4 million subscribers. This is not 1.4 million vocalists watching this, right? The vast majority of people watching this stuff don't even know what she's talking about or don't even really care. They don't care about like what type of scream this is and what, you know, vocal fold Alex is using to create the sound. Again, it's just this common thread of like what people respond to is like, if you're knowledgeable about something and passionate about something and you share that knowledge, you know, in an accessible way, people respond to that. And she is very likable. It's true. She seems like a very nice person. Yeah, she's an opera singer, right? Isn't she originally? I think she's an opera singer. The one thing I saw that she did that was really cool was the video she did with Will Ramos from Lorna Shore, where they like put a camera down his throat and recorded him singing and stuff. That was pretty cool. I don't know. That's really going the extra mile. Like reaction content is cool, but doing stuff like that, I think really put her over the edge. And it's interesting that even though she's an opera teacher, she was smart enough to realize like, oh, there's this whole like meta of people reacting to like extreme metal vocals. And that's not all she does, but she does a lot of that stuff. So I think it's very smart of her, you know, and says a lot that she's able to talk about everything from, you know, Weird Al. Let's see what else she has here. She's reacted to like Weird Al, America's Got Talent, Gojira, Deftones, Five Finger Death Punch, you know, really just kind of all over the place. And I think it says a lot about her ability to engage with people that basically she's been able to transcend genre, which is really hard to do. And according to TubeBuddy here, she got 10 million views this month. So she is making a massive fucking amount of money. Let's put it that way. If she's getting 10 million views a month, she is making an insane amount of fucking money. So shout out to Charismatic Voice. Get the money, sis. Lastly, we have Glenn Fricker.
And another absent demo.
Man who talks very
Glenn,
loudly.
When are you going to give us something
very,
new?
very loudly. The very
Speaker
loud
sounds
man
from
with very
20
strong
hertz to 20
opinions.
kilohertz.
And he's been around for a long time also. He's been around for 10 years, I think. A lot of people think Glenn is an asshole. I actually know Glenn reasonably well. I've met him a couple times. We worked with him before. Glenn is actually a very nice guy. Like his voice makes him sound like an asshole, which I guess I probably have the same problem, but he's legitimately a really nice person. Like, is he taller than me? He might be, but he's older than me, so it's okay. As long as I can be superior to somebody in at least one dimension, then I'm good. I'm not going to get butthurt about it. So he may be taller, but he's older, so it's okay. But he's legitimately like a really nice guy. I've never heard him say anything bad about anybody, including some people that he had very, very, very good reason to talk shit about. You know, he was talking to me off the record about some people that if I was him, I would have fucking had a lot of bad things to say about them. But he didn't say anything bad about him at all. And I was like, you know, okay. That interaction really made me see him differently, if that makes sense. I'd prefer an asshole over a fake positive person. Well, he's not an asshole, though. He's just one of these people that has a lot of strong opinions, and he's going to share them. He doesn't care if you agree with him or not. He's just like, this is what I think. If you don't agree with me, that's cool. You don't have to agree with me. And, you know, he's been doing this for 10 years. And that's fucking cool. Like, being relevant on YouTube for a decade is insanely fucking hard. Insanely hard. Up until I think 2 years ago, he retired. He worked at a car assembly plant in Canada, right across from Detroit. And he was doing this the whole time when he had a day job, plus putting out like 3 or 4 videos a week. It's crazy. The man's work ethic is nuts. And he retired with a pension from his day job a couple years ago. So now he gets his pension and he gets his YouTube money. He's doing good. So shout out to him for his work ethic and his consistency. I think that's really cool. And I also appreciate that, you know, he's one of these rare people that have strong opinions, but is actually like a nice person. And, you know, I think the lesson here for people is to learn how to separate what people say from how they say it, if that makes sense. You know, the people that think that he's a dick, he's not. He's a very nice person. He just says things in this sort of like very strong way that some people may find off-putting. Anyhow, that does it for this edition of Finn Mckenty Destroys Rival YouTubers with Facts and Logic. Join us next time for episode number 3. I'm the dinosaur. My time has passed.